challenge. So let's see if I can do this. But do you hate people that do PowerPoint notes and they just do it like this? They just go like this. I hate it when I see presenters do that. It's like, come on. I read once that a nice blue background is a calming effect. I had a particularly rowdy class one year, so I tried this, and it actually did calm them. So if you're feeling a little bit more at ease, there's a psychological reason why. Want to just stare into the deep blue ocean for a moment and just sort of feel calm? How do you feel, Listen? No different? Just a bunch of mumbo jumbo? Okay, so we've done work. Imagine it's tomorrow. You've done all those work questions. Now let's talk about power. Power ratings. So power refers to the rate of doing work. How fast do you do the work? Or you could also say it's the rate at which energy is transferred from one object to another. How fast that energy is transferred. You could say it refers to the amount of work done per unit of time. And mathematically, in a formula standpoint, P equals W over T. That's the formula. Power is work divided by time. It's not a hard formula. And again, I talked about this kind of stuff Friday, right? And it's also on that handout as well. Should be there, right? Is it on the first page? Yeah, it's right there, right in the middle. Power equals work divided by time. Okay, what are the units of power? Well, it is watts. We'll get there. Power is work over time. Work is in joules. Time is in seconds, which means if it's given to you in minutes or hours, you have to convert it to seconds. I'll say it again. It must be in seconds. For those of you that make that mistake on tests all the time, you know who you are. And we have defined, we in the science community have defined 1 joule per second as 1 watt. And yes, that's the same watt when you talk about a 60-watt light bulb. A 60-watt light bulb is giving off 60 joules of energy every second. If it's one of the old incandescent kinds, most of that energy is heat. Very little is light. If it's one of these kinds, it's all light, or almost all light, right? Which is why this is only 13 watts. 13 watts of light energy is equivalent to 60 watts of incandescent energy, which means, like, what would that be? 47 watts of heat energy, right? On an old incandescent one, which is why they're so inefficient, especially in the summertime when you don't really care about adding heat to your house. Okay, here's a sample question. It's so straightforward. I don't think I made a sheet for these, right? Did I? Okay. So unfortunately, you got to write this down if you want. It's up to you. It's pretty straightforward. But if you want the sample question, I don't actually have it on a sheet for you. If you want to jot it down on the back of that power sheet, let me just see how many problems are there. Yeah, there's only one. If you want to write it down loosely, if you can. Or if you want to just sit back and enjoy and then print it out later, you can do that too. I've got time. We're going to be good for time. So how much power does a 50 kilogram girl develop? This is one word that pops up in power questions. Develop power. I don't know. That kind of doesn't make sense to me, but I threw it in there because it does show up in the questions. What power does a 50 kilogram girl develop while running up a 2-meter high flight of stairs in 0.75 seconds? By the way, this is exactly what you're going to do in the personal power lab. You're going to find out what your personal power rating is. So she has a mass of 50 kilograms. She's running up a 2-meter high flight of stairs in 0.75 seconds. Note that she does work against the pull of gravity. When she steps up, she's applying a force up equal to her weight force, right? Now, yes, initially she has to accelerate to get going, but then eventually she's moving at a constant speed. We're going to assume that the force that she's pushing with is force of gravity. Okay? And we're also going to assume that even though she's going up a flight of stairs and kind of going like, sideways, the only force is really what? Up. Right? We're going to sort of ignore the horizontal component there. We're only going up. Okay, so the formula is, and I'm going to combine it all together. The formula is power equals work over time. That work is Fd, weight force times d. The weight force is m times g multiplied by d divided by t, so you get 50 kilograms times 9.8 times a distance of 2 divided by 0.75. Oops. Just want to get to there. Okay, so does that make sense? 50 kilograms times 9.8 times the distance of 2 divided by 0.75 is the time. How did we get 0.75? Is it only like 0.75 seconds? Really? That seems like not very much time. And what'd you get for an answer? Yeah, now it's going to do this to me, isn't it? 1,306.7 watts, which is equivalent to 1.31 kilowatts. How do you get from watts to kilowatts? Yeah, oh, where to go? I heard you say it, Connor. Divide by 1,000. Kilo always means 1,000. Always, always, always. Okay? Where do you hear the term kilowatts in real life? Hydro bill, yeah. Actually, it's measured in kilowatt hours. It's an hour's worth of energy. It's it's really confusing. It's really a total amount of energy. I don't know why they don't measure it in joules. They should. Kilowatt hours is confusing because it's not kilowatts per hour, it's kilowatt hours. Well, watts is already what? Watts is already like energy per unit of time, and so when you take kilowatt hours, right, you're multiplying by time and you eliminate the time, and you're really talking about a total amount of energy. They really should measure hydro bills in joules. Kilowatt hours are not the same as joules, but it's measuring the same thing, right? Because a watt is a joule per second. So first of all, it's 3,600 seconds, right? So it's something like, I guess a kilowatt, it'd be 1,036. It's like 3.6 million joules, or maybe even 36 million. I don't know whether that's what this is, but it's like a big number, right? But they could call it megajoules or gigajoules or whatever, right? But for some reason, they went with kilowatt hours. Probably because people, when they first came out with the hydrometers and stuff, they maybe didn't think people would understand what a kilojoule or a gigajoule or that sort of terminology. But in this day and age, we know what giga means. You guys hear about a gig of data, right? So I don't think it would be, but it's just one of those customs. 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts. Okay, now the textbook, if you're following along the textbook, and I know that I hardly even looked at it this year, but the textbook does do this, which comes in handy on occasion. So because power equals work over time, which is F times D over T, do you see D over T here? And what is D over T equal to? Right? So we can replace this D over T. We can get power equals F times V. Okay? So on occasion, that is a useful formula to have as well. Power equals force multiplied by velocity. And the velocity must be in meters per second. Okay, there are some textbook questions on power if you want to try them. There's only 3. It wouldn't hurt to add those to your list of things to do, simply because, guess what, it's going to force you to use that. Okay? There is also sprinkled in amongst in here, the one with the dancing couple. And in here you'll find some power questions sprinkled in there as well. Power isn't a whole lot of, there's not a whole lot of power questions, which is why I stole actually, from some wise individual. I stole it from Glenbrook Physics. I stole the personal power app. So if you could, grab this and let's go through this. I have about 10 minutes to go through this with you. Show you everything is back there. Start at the left-hand side, grab one of everything. Go really fast. Use extreme power. By the way, today's lesson has been brought to you by the letter P. I don't know why that's still in there. I think someone said the blue reminded them of Grover. So
that's actually Super Grover.
That is Super Grover, you're right. Correct. Okay, bring me one more personal power lab with you, please. Because I need one. Okay, so the personal power lab is fairly straightforward. I don't remember what day I suggested you do it. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to all do it at the same time. Okay? So the purpose of the lab is to perform measurements capable of determining the power rating of our own legs and lifting our bodies up a flight of stairs to determine our own horsepower. We're going to compare you to a horse to relate our understanding of power to the ability of other humans and machines to do work in a specified amount of time. Now, by the way, you're going to get a power rating that is way higher than what it normally is. Mr. Smielski and I have discussed this a fair bit. We're not really sure why it doesn't come up with an answer that makes more sense. Can't really explain why the power, unless that you're exerting that force or that power over such a short amount of time that you are actually able to have more horsepower over a really, really short part of time. But to take that over a longer period of time is impossible. So anyways, all machines are typically described by a power rating. The power rating indicates the rate at which the machine can do work upon other objects. Thus, the power of a machine is the work-to-time ratio for that particular machine. To determine the power of a machine, one must be able to calculate the work done by the machine through knowledge of force it applies to displace an object, and the time it takes to do this amount of work. A person is a machine which also has a power rating. Some people are more powerful than others. That is, they are capable of doing the same amount of work in less time. In this lab, you will measure your own personal power by making measurements as you climb up a flight of stairs within your school. Okay, now the thing is here is that the larger you are, the more mass you have, the more force you need. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you're a larger person, if you're tall, you have more mass, you actually have to apply more force, right? If you're a smaller person, it's less force, right? But can you do it quickly? So you might find, actually, I used to keep rankings of the kids because kind of make it a bit of a competition, but it became insane and people were getting mad at each other, so I stopped doing it. You can compete amongst yourselves, but I kind of thought it'd be cool to have like an all-time. But one of the individuals that was one of the all-time, not a particularly athletic kid, he was fairly large, right? And he took it really seriously, and he went up really, really fast, right? He had a large power rating. Some of the smaller girls can be very powerful if they go really, really, really fast. If you're small, you have to go really fast, right? Some people just didn't care and just kind of went, eh. I really don't care what your personal power rating is. It's kind of fun to do, okay? So don't sprain an ankle. I've had some people actually change into gym clothes. That's how competitive they got. You don't need to do that. I'm just suggesting maybe not heels. Please, okay? Okay, so in the space below, construct a free body diagram showing all the forces acting upon your body to climb the stairs. Explain how you would measure the upward force. I've already sort of explained this, and I will say if you're having trouble with some of the questions, by all means, when I return, I'll be happy to help you. Okay? So there's a little bit of pre-work done there. You will need the meter sticks to measure the flight of stairs. We're going to go to you can go to both stairwells. Please try to keep the noise to a first or bell roar. You can use both stairwells. What we normally do is just the bottom set of stairs. So don't run up the bottom one and then have to go sideways and then up again. Just do the bottom stairs. Okay, you're going to have to measure the height of the stairs with the meter sticks. You're also going to need your phone as a stopwatch. Or, of course, the regular stopwatches, which are here. You guys can pull those out. Don't miss them into where they are. Okay, just make sure they get turned off, please, when you're done, so that they don't run for like the next week. Okay? And then you're going to calculate your power in the space below. And then this is one that every kid always forgets. Compare your personal power rating to common machines like lawnmowers. So look up, go on the Canadian Tire website, find out how much a lawnmower is. Say, I'm about the same power as a lawnmower. I'm about the same power as an 8-horse snowblower. Whatever. I'm about the same power as a pair of hand shears. Or whatever, right? It's got to be a machine time. Yeah, no, this is not coconuts. No. Okay, then there are several post-lab questions. Some are easy. The ones near the bottom are hard. You're going to have to sort those out, maybe talk to a neighbor. I will help when I get back. 4 and 5 are a little bit hard. They relate to the textbook stuff. If you want to make a note there, P equals FV. That's what they relate to. Okay? Questions 6 and 7, you only have to do one. They are challenge questions. They will challenge you. Okay, you have to do some thinking here. Okay, this is the one. If you're interested, people always want to do this one. I don't know why. This is the one that's more interesting to me. Although they're both kind of interesting. The first one is talking about how much energy you can generate because of electrical power. As the tide comes in, it drives turbines. As the tide goes out, it drives turbines, and you can measure that amount of energy. It's actually a lot of electrical energy that can be generated by tide. Okay, so that's what question 6 is about. Question 7 is looking up how much, with your personal power rating, determine how long it will take you to burn off a bowl of cereal with milk. Note that these amounts are in kilojoules. Okay, so here we have vector in kilojoules. And then this one here is Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran is only listed as calories. So you're going to have to take this proportion here, some grade 8 math. You're going to have to take that ratio and convert calories to joules. Okay? And tell me, how long would you have to climb stairs in the DRCSS to completely burn off a bowl of Raisin Bran? What do you think? How long?
2.5 long.
A long time. But give it to me in, actual seconds or minutes. Or hours. What do you think? Would it be 2 minutes? Would it be 30 minutes? Would it be 6 hours? It's longer than you think. So there goes, and I'm going to kind of do some pre-stuff here. It's longer than you think. So when you take in a bowl of cereal or whatever food you're eating, people don't climb stairs all day. Where does all that energy go? Your metabolism burns a lot of energy, a lot. Which is why, brain power too, which is why teenagers tend to eat as much as they want and not gain a lot of mass. How come? You have high metabolism. When you get to my age, your metabolism is low. Right? A single piece of cake takes hours to burn up. Okay, I've done enough talking today.